Hi, so today Kaylee and I did our number talk. Um, I did the numbers 1 and 3, Kaylee did 2 and 8, and then together we did 10 and 12. I held 3 and Kaylee held 1, so we made sure that they were not on the board and that we were holding them so that students were thinking about it a little bit differently. As we did this, it went a little bit different than expected because when we asked students what they noticed about the numbers, the first thing they wanted to talk about was the shape of the numbers. And then we just weren't anticipating that. And then we were like, oh, like, which one's bigger, which one's smaller? Our teacher had asked us to include talking about if they were equal or not equal, which is something they've been learning. And so we asked that, and we're like, how do you know? And they told us that they weren't equal because 3 was bigger than 1, which we had talked about, and that's how they told us that they knew, which they had talked about and told us why. And so they were like building off their knowledge that they had shared before that. What we did not anticipate was the fact that they were continuously bringing up the number of shapes. It just kept coming up, so that was just a surprise for us, and it was a good conversation and something we were able to learn how to redirect a conversation, which was something we weren't expecting. Our learning target was to compare two numbers. An example of student thinking that was present with this would be when we were comparing 10 and 12. We asked students which one is bigger, and they were able to tell us 12, and we asked why, and they said because they showed us counting up 11, 12. Then we asked which one was closer to 0, and they told us neither, because once you got to 10, you were closer to 10. And so we're like, oh, how do you know that? How would you count up from, how would you get to 10? And then asking how you get to 10, then they were showing us how they would count up to 10, and then you would hit 10 before you hit 12. And then you could see a little click in their head, and everyone was shouting out that, oh, 10 is closer to 0. And then we asked which is closer to 20. And then after they learned that 10, they right away answered 20, and then they showed us from 12 you would count up. So that did align with the target, and that was awesome. And then a goal for future for me as a professional teacher would be, for some reason, I was extra nervous today, and I've done things similar to this, not maybe with numbers, but I've led lessons before and not been nervous at all, and for some reason, I'm a little bit off today. And so I guess one thing I can learn from this is that just to take a deep breath and think before I let the words come out. I felt like I was kind of word vomiting, and overall I do think it went well, but I can learn to take a deep breath and to continue to prompt students to think a little bit deeper. There was opportunities where I think I could have asked students to explain to me a little more, what made you think that, or how did you get that? I think I could have asked a little bit more, prompting more questions, but I was a little bit nervous, and I was just kind of moving on to the next questions that we were going to ask based off the numbers to get them thinking more, and I just kind of brushed over it a couple times. And so I will take more deep breaths, and I will practice asking more open-ended questions in the future. Thank you.